She's Gear Abby, GearAbby, advice that doesn't suck. Gear Abby.
Hello there, my outdoorsy friends, and welcome to Gear Abby, where we tackle the controversial, weird, obscure, and taboo topics that other outdoor podcasts refuse to touch. I'm outdoor educator and writer Shawnté Salabert, and I'm here to answer your burning questions about our relationships with outdoor people, products, places, and pastimes. And I want them all, because remember, there are no dumb questions, just smart advice. Here's how it works, which I say every week in a slightly different intonation. You're going to send questions to DearGearAbby at gmail.com. Please and thank you. Feel free to send a birthday wish as well. My birthday is next week. I'm going to answer a couple each week here on the show. And normally this would be the part where I make some sort of like WWF announcement. This is my partner in gear and producer and resident question singer, Colin True. But as rumor has it, I think he's run away to the circus. Of course, we don't kink shame here on Gear Abby, so you do you, Colin. But we should be back in the swing of things with fresh episodes starting again next week. Until then, you get one more pre-show ramble with your pal Shawnté. I'm actually going to take a moment before dropping you off in a past episode to share the number one question I get asked when I'm heading off on a long backpacking trip, which is actually where I am right now, even though it sounds like I'm in your earbuds or car stereo or, I don't know, lurking over your shoulder. Maybe I am. But that question is, aren't you scared going alone? And dear listener, I am not. And not that I wasn't at one time, which I think I've actually talked about in a super early episode of the show. Maybe the one Colin's playing, maybe he already did it. I don't know what that man is doing. But at this point, as the kids say, going out is like going in or going home or going number two. I don't actually remember what the saying is, but I think you're picking up what I'm putting down. I'm also not afraid because I do a lot of stuff on the front end of a trip to make sure I have nothing to fear except fear itself. I don't know. I've taken wilderness first aid and snow and river safety courses. I've also taught backpacking skills for many years. I know how to use an analog map and compass. I keep a PDF of what to do in case of lightning on my phone. I've dealt with snow and ice and lightning and bears and mountain lions and scary rivers and just all sorts of stuff. And each of those experiences, all of them just expanded my knowledge so that I felt even more empowered the next time I went out. And in general, I just honestly have an innate aversion to doing super risky shit alone or otherwise. So that helps out a lot. I like to say, I think the biggest thing we should probably all be a little afraid of on solo trips is just all that extended time with ourselves. As much as I think the backcountry is an escape, the one constant is you and your brain. That's right. Turns out you cannot, or at least you should not, leave that one at home. I have met a ton of people who get out there. They realize they just can't turn off all of the things they were thinking about before they left, relationship problems, leaving their job, stressing about money, whatever it is. Existential crises, very popular on trail. We can thank Cheryl Strayed for that, as we've discussed. But they've realized their brain just won't shut off. They've got some stuff to work out. And some people take that opportunity to do it. And some people are like, oh, hell no, I'm going home. So, maybe that's the only thing to fear. I have had some rough solo times out there mentally, but this time around, I am feeling pretty good, probably mostly thanks to the gift of pharmaceuticals. But no, I'm not afraid, unless we're talking about the deep-seated fear I have that I will run out of Reese's Pieces before my resupply. Deep, realistic fear. But that is a problem for future Gear Abby. Until then, here's a trip down memory lane with past Gear Abby and our not dearly departed Colin. He's just temporarily away making food. He might be making food. He's making money to make food for his children. I don't know what he's doing. You know what, Colin, come back. We miss you. I can't ramble alone. I need you, buddy. Happy trails. All right, here's how it works. I know you know, I know, we're all going to know together. You're going to send questions to DearGearAbby@gmail.com, and I'll answer a couple each week here on the show. We're getting a lot of emails lately, so keep them coming. As always, joining me today is my partner in gear, the producer of Gear Abby, and a guy who feels like my little brother, even though he's older than me, Colin True.
Come on, I am clearly the mentor here, all right? Because, like, if it weren't for me, you would not be embracing your true algorithm on Instagram,
Wow.
all right? You know, I was so boring before, and I have unleashed the tidal wave of poop.
Wow, what tidal wave is that? I don't think I co-signed. I think that is not a tidal wave I would like to participate in. Thanks. I need the water wings for that tidal wave, if you know what I'm saying.
I can't remember the one as I sent you today, but I was like, oh my God, that's so funny when I sent it to
you send me wonderful, wonderful, terrible reels all the time. So I thank you for that.
Maybe it is more little brother behavior. That's all I know. I'm only
really
a little
is.
brother. I'm the youngest in my family,
See,
so it's
that's
still
it.
all
That's
I got.
how and I'm the older sister. My younger sister is lovely. She sends me a lot of reels on Instagram too. She also sends me voice memos now, which I am not good at returning. I'm trying. She calls them her ADHD podcast.
I mean, come on. Like, that's such an under 40 thing.
I know. Well, Colin, listen, you know what? Speaking of the internets, not to brag, but I'm going to. We just got another 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. So thank you for that person who took the time to actually rate, review, and subscribe.
Yeah, everyone's welcome to do it, by the way.
It's helpful.
You don't even need to listen on Apple Podcasts for you to go rate and write a review.
Right. You can write a haiku. There's no formatting, issues here. You could just like in verse, you could use our names as what is it called? An anacrostic when you do each letter of the name.
Is that what that is?
I don't know. But, just things to think of, people, okay? But I'm going to say this particular review did ask us to, and I quote, please turn off the notifications on your devices while you're recording, which made me realize that this is probably from the recent books segment where Colin just went absolutely apeshit with the little dinging sound, which even drove me a little crazy. So lovely Apple 5-star reviewer, you are not alone. But I'm kind of glad you mentioned this because those dings that you were hearing in every episode were Colin's way of kind of signaling a special call out in the show notes, which we forget to mention sometimes. There are amazing show notes over on rockfight.co. There is no M, it's just co. For every single episode. So on that particular episode, which sounded like some kind of deranged carol of the bells during that segment, he dinged every single book and linked to it, everything I talked about. So we're gonna retire the dings for now, just in case other people are confused about them. But we are not retiring the show notes. It is incredible what Colin does every week. There's always bonus content if you're a total Gear Abby nerd. It's about 50% helpful links, and I'd say 50% Colin making cracks about something I said. So highly enjoyable in any case.
Look, I'm just gonna. I appreciate the way you're handling
Thank
this,
you.
there, Gear Abby. I'm just gonna say it. I'm very disappointed in our listeners.
That they're not giving us more written reviews, or
it's
that
so
they don't
obviously
understand.
not a phone. Number one, okay. Number two, go look at the show notes. There was a little trigger, like, what is this? Let me find out more. It's in the show notes in your podcast app. It's over on the website. I can't have a list of footnotes now without the dings. Well, would that make any sense? You wouldn't even know what I'm talking about.
You just want me to make a noise in the background? I feel like we were trying to workshop this the other day. Hello.
Yeah. No, it's fine. We'll take it out. I'm sure that this person, I appreciate that we still got the 5-star review and they made this mention. It is just kind of a little bonkers to me that we didn't connect the dots, but that's okay.
What?
I get it. We'll move on.
I'm not going to shame any of our listeners for giving us 5-star review, Colin. So I'm just saying thank you, dear person. I don't remember what your username was, but it was just like a lot of letters smushed together. So I appreciate your hard work. Everybody else, go leave us really exciting comments so we could read them on air.
Yes.
We're going to start reading, I think starting with next week. We've got, every once in a while, we get really cool emails in, and I'm going to start excerpting them. So emails, reviews, whatever you want, send us fan mail. Make sure it's all addressed to me, and we'll read some of them.
Yep. Yep. End of an era. First 15 episodes. Have footnotes. If you were along for that journey, hope you enjoyed it. It's over.
All right. While we're doing housekeeping, which maybe is a new segment, the housekeeping segment's real sexy.
I brought my broom.
Yeah, I've got a robot vacuum. Yeah, I wish. I really wish. Actually, so just a heads up, all of y'all. So next week's episode, which will air on December 25th, it's going to be a little different than the norm. And I'm not even going to tell you what that is. If you are a faithful listener, you might have heard us tease part of that episode here and there, but it's going to be a little special sauce. And after that, we're going to take a 2-week break just so we can stare into middle distance for a little while, like maybe we all will, and prepare for the new year. And then it's a great time for you to ruminate on what you want to email us about. So take advantage.
Maybe you get something for Christmas or Hanukkah and you have a question about the gear. Send it in.
Maybe you got some gift
Send it in
cards
over
and you
the
want to know
holiday.
how to spend them. Yeah,
We
we
can
can,
help with
even
that.
spend them for you if you send them to us at
Sure.
DearGearAbby@gmail.com.
And keep all the stuff.
What did you mean by keep all the stuff, Colin? You just told everyone to keep all the stuff
Well,
they
like-
get for Christmas, or we will keep all the
Yeah,
stuff
if you're giving
they
me your
send?
gift card, I'm going to keep.
Oh,
I'm
I
going to keep
see.
the stuff. You know.
I just had to clarify what you meant there. I'm on board. So yes, we will keep all your stuff. This is like your way you could tip us. It's like either a 5-star review with a really beautiful email, or just send us a gift card. But speaking of asking, Colin, what is the first question for the day?
Okay, our first question today is, Dear Gear Abby, will a thru-hiker lose their trail cred if they car camp? I mean, you never hear about a thru-hiker raving about car camping being where it's at. Even boondocking in the middle of nowhere can be epic. So that's the question. Do they lose their trail cred? And that is signed Sarah.
Sarah.
I'm assuming not her trail
You don't
name.
know. This could be anybody. You don't even know the gender of this
I'm
person.
going to keep the email notifications, the name. That is not going away. So if you all think that is our phones going off, that is our sign off for our listeners. They get a little bing
No,
for
they
that.
don't. What? No.
No, the little.
Okay. No, I do like your sound design, Colin. I feel like we should give you props for that. I do get a lot of comments that the production on this podcast is pretty damn good, and that is all due to you, sirs. So, bravo.
Thank you. Sorry, Sarah. I didn't mean to step on your
Sarah.
question
Sorry,
there.
we didn't say.
Thank you for
We
writing
didn't
in.
say he was paying attention to anything other than his impressive production skills.
And not to step on what Gear Abby was going to say, but who are these assholes that are making you feel bad about car camping?
Right.
Come on.
This actually reminds me of some of those early questions we got about Strava and running vests. I don't, you
Right.
remember those. Namely, will somebody judge me for doing this thing, or you?
Am I doing
using this thing
outdoor
right?
wrong?
Yeah, am I outdoorsing wrong? Wearing this thing I like. My short answer is, Sarah. Anybody else who's listening? Who cares? Okay. What is trail cred? And I'm saying that in heavy quotes. Who's keeping score here? Is it the Equifax Thru-Hiker Credit Bureau? I don't.
Maybe we should
start that. That's going to be when we
That's a
launch the
great idea.
OnlyFans. That's actually what the content is going to be. We're just going to judge all of you. It's where we get out like all of our latent.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
It's where everybody can be a dick together. So yeah, I think, listen, thru-hikers, let's all just put down the ramen noodles and tuna packets and just take a beat to think about what's actually important. Okay. All right. Now I could leave it there because really that's all the answer that needed to happen here, but I'm going to dig in a bit deeper because, you, the people, deserve it. So first of all, yes, I'm judging anybody who judges somebody else for doing an activity that they don't personally like or think is cool. I always go back to the classic thru-hiker phrase, which clearly these people have forgotten. Hike your own hike, which essentially means do your thing, okay? Or perhaps even it's like the we don't kink shame of backpacking is kind of how I like to think about it, right, Colin?
I like how the evolution of kink shaming on this
I really
podcast.
can't-
It's not about sex at all
Can't wait
anymore.
till we have t-shirts, something, anything. So Colin and I were at the running event, which is an outdoor trade show for, you're gonna be shocked to hear this, running. We were there a couple weeks ago, and somebody walked up to me at one point and just pointed their finger at me and said, "We don't kink shame on this podcast," and it was all I needed in my life. So thank you for picking up.
You could die happy at this point.
Really,
Like,
that was
the
it. We could
best.
shut down
Thank
the
you.
podcast.
Yes, that's it. We've won.
Man, but you know what? I think there are dualities that exist within us outdoor nerds. Okay, getting back to the camping here. Someone can be a hardcore alpinist and still enjoy doing laps at the local crag. Somebody could be a whitewater enthusiast and still enjoy paddling around on a lake. And yes, somebody can enjoy backpacking and sleeping miles away from any roads or flush toilets. They probably have their bidet with them, and still dig the car camping experience. Although I do think we've all learned by now that Colin would rather not do any of those things.
No, but I tell you what, because that's exactly what I think of. Like it's actually, I get nervous admitting I'm not a
It's
huge
okay.
camper, but I love doing outdoor stuff. You know what I mean? Because You're like, oh, you don't camp? Well, then I'm going to take away your outdoor
No,
card.
I'm only
know?
judging you because you're my little brother, not because I think it's wrong that you don't camp. I do think it's wrong that you haven't been to Yosemite yet, but we're going to fix that in the new year. And I'm going to watch Lord of the Rings with you in theaters. So
Yeah,
we're going to
way
make
more
it happen.
egregious.
We're going to meet in the middle and we're going to rectify a lot of things this year. Okay.
I can't wait.
But yeah, I mean, I honestly, I'm going to just throw this out there. I really, 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 really don't like staying at front country campgrounds. I am a really light sleeper and I hate being kept up by somebody blasting EDM and putting on like a full laser light show. Yes. And you think I'm like exaggerating here? That has happened to me twice.
No, it's happened to me too.
Twice.
Yeah. No, part of it is like I would prefer to backpack if I'm going to camp because it's like now it's an immersive experience or bike pack or whatever it is. It's like it's part of the thing. When it's like, hey, you can sleep at this campground with the EDM music or drive 2 hours and sleep in your bed. It's like,
You're right. Well, we'll get to that in a second
home.
because I got some ideas here.
Oh, sorry.
No. I love it. I love it. You're thinking ahead, Colin. You're thinking ahead about your own comfort, which is really important. So, no, but as much as I dislike camping in campgrounds, it's not the car camping I dislike. I actually really enjoy doing car camping, experiences with friends. And part of that is just obviously you get to bring a bunch of stuff that makes you comfortable. You get to bring really good food, usually that has not been pre-dehydrated. And, I also think that car camping just lets me spend time outside with friends of mine that aren't into backpacking, but we still get like a full value experience out there, So this is going to get to your point, Colin, and Sarah actually mentioned this in their email. I love camping in areas where dispersed camping is allowed. Now, that is going to be a term a lot of people don't know, and it just means that dispersed camping is camping on some sort of public land that's undeveloped. So there's no bathrooms, no no picnic tables, no fire pits. And in a lot of places, this is generally BLM, that's Bureau of Land Management land, or national forests. I also love researching options on the most exquisitely named website, freecampsites.net. That's right.
That sounds like it's going to give you a virus.
It looks like it was built in 1990 when Al Gore invented the internet.
The pixelated torches with like the visitor counter.
The Oregon Trail wagon is just going across the bottom. Yeah, that's pretty much what it looks like.
I don't know where Carmen Sandiego
but I'm going to find her at this free campsite. Yeah, it's for as old timey as that website is, it's actually really useful, and it's used a lot by people who you can actually search for this term, people who boondock, and that's just people who like to do this in an RV or a camper instead of a tent. So that website, for all of its old timiness, is great, but also you could just Google boondocking and the area you're going to be in. And you're going to be able to find these places that are off the beaten path, but where you don't have to hike in. You could just kind of drive in, set up, sleep in your car, set up some tents, do your thing. But yeah, any of you listening who are, in fact, through hiking snobs worried about trail cred, I really cannot recommend enough that you just give it a chance, see how the other half lives. I have some friends, Nina and Enrique, that we backpack together sometimes, but I actually really love car camping with them because they will set up every single time a full taco bar with like absolutely legit homemade salsa and guac and carnitas and all the fixings. And they let me sleep. They have this kind of 4x4 built out camper truck situation. And they'll always let me sleep on the bottom level, which is all cushy and stuff. And I love it. It's truly one of my favorite things in the world. So it's almost ruined me for instant mashed potatoes and Thermarest sea pads. So just consider yourself warned.
I think I'm just happy that like of all these sort of like core or hardcore activities you can do as an outdoorsy person, you would think maybe that thru-hikers would be the most chill of all of those groups. Like I get I get ultra runners or hardcore rock climbers or cyclists, like gravel cyclists or competitive mountain bikers. Like if you're like, oh, this is the way you do it and fuck off if you don't agree with me kind of thing. The fact you think like who in the thru hiking community is going to be judging you for saying like, hey, I hiked the AT, but now I want to go car camping and someone's going to shame you for that? Like, come on, give me a break. But I mean, it's kind of also reassuring to know like, no, this is an outdoor problem.
Yeah, this
isn't a category problem. Yes, exactly.
Maybe people need to get outside a little bit more and touch some more grass. You know what I'm saying? All right, Colin. So we're going to stop talking about you and your bougie sleeping habits, and
Yes.
let's tackle another question, shall we?
We had some less than bougie pillows at that hotel where the running event was. They were not good hotel
Really?
pillows.
Your
I didn't
hotel
think so.
pillows weren't good? Oh, I
They
had
were
like a
kinda
whole
small.
kingdom of pillows. It was great.
There was a lot of pillows, but they were small, and I like to kind of do like a wrap situation, you know. And it just was a little
I'm
short.
trying to imagine what this looks like. Are you just smothering yourself in your sleep? I mean, we don't
little
kink
bit.
shame like we said. All right.
I want you to define what king shaming.
I don't know. It's everything now. Wow. All right. Well, let's move along here.
All right, next question. Dear Gear Abby, after years of outdoorsing in multiple sports, I'm holding on to duplicates of tents, stoves, backpacks, climbing shoes that didn't work out, and much more. Can you recommend sustainable options for getting rid of perfectly good gear? Signed, Hoarder Anonymous.
Oh,
I swear this was a listener email.
This was. Wait,
not
is it
something we
you?
ported over from a rock fight conversation.
No. This is great.
Yeah,
And I
really
love
good email.
First of all, Hoarder, I love your use of the word outdoorsing. That is very creative. I appreciate it. And I also want to say I'm very proud of you, Hoarder. It's not just that you're clearly trying to simplify your life and maybe even confront your own consumption habits, but I really like that you also want to be thoughtful about what you do with your stuff. Good news. There's a lot of stuff you can do that isn't just dropping it off at a thrift shop. I think a lot of people understand by now that a lot of what gets donated in this country just, ends up in a landfill or it gets shipped to other countries. So I always recommend trying to get your things back into circulation with a bit of intention. So we're going to try to put you on that path today. So the first question is, do you want to make money on your stuff or does it not really matter? Outdoor gear and clothing, as we know, is very expensive, so I'm not going to judge you if you do want to claw back a little bit of that money you spent on all of your stuff. But here's some ideas if you do want to get some of that money back. Now, I have never used it, but my sister is an absolute fiend for Facebook Marketplace, which may or may not be a cesspool of creeps and bad checks. Like, buyer beware, seller beware.
You're judging your sister with that comment there.
Yeah, I am. Again, I can judge my younger siblings like my sister and you, Colin. But a perhaps less murdery option is to see if there are any local outdoor shops that sell used gear and see if they take things on consignment. There's actually, especially if you're in a bigger city or if you're in a very outdoorsy sort of area, that's not uncommon at all. You can also see if the brands themselves, let's say you've got clothing by certain brands, you could see if they offer some sort of online used gear marketplace. Patagonia sort of popularized this with their Worn Wear program, but some other brands have picked up on it. North Face has one, Arc'teryx has one, REI has their own in-house thing. And for people who don't like the idea, because I've heard this criticism before of those programs, for people who don't like the idea of all these brands taking a second cut and profiting for a second time on the things they sell, this is a personal choice thing. I recommend looking out for some kind of brand agnostic services like Articles in Common, Rerouted, and Gear Trade. And all of those are super specific to outdoor gear and sporting goods. And that could be a really awesome option for getting things back out there. And I'd say also non-specifically, you can try general resale sites. I've used Poshmark and eBay. There's also ThredUp and some other ones out there. I do recommend doing a little bit of research before you post things just to see what similar things have sold for, what they're currently being listed for, just so you can be competitive and try to get it out the door as quickly as possible. For all of you altruistic people who don't care about making money, there are a ton of options, and all of these I don't want to promise anything here, but they may confer instant outdoor sainthood upon you. So that's something to consider. Colin's smiling because he would like to be. Do you want to be an outdoor saint, Colin?
I just hope it doesn't ruin my trail cred.
I think that's the ultimate trail cred, isn't it?
Right.
Oh.
Do I get a halo?
Yeah, maybe. Well, probably made out of Dyneema. We'll get with Lloyd of Garage Burn Gear on that. Yeah. So, all right, as far as giving away your stuff, just start with the people you know, first of all. I have given away so much gear this way to friends of mine, to students in an outdoor class that I used to teach. I'm also super active in my local Buy Nothing group, and that's a group that is hosted on Facebook. So if you use Facebook, you can look for one, see if there's one in your area. And it's just people giving out of, they call it giving out of your abundance, what you have, and, getting it into the neighborhood. One of my best finds actually was a pair of heavy ass kettlebells that would have easily cost like $90 at the store, I think minimum. So I was very thrilled that day, let me tell you. But yeah, you could also look into your community. Items like warm clothing, tents, sleeping systems are really helpful for people who are unhoused and could use a little bit of comfort and warmth. If you're not comfortable approaching someone in public, because a lot of people aren't, you could just reach out to local organizations that work with homeless populations and see if they can help you figure out how to distribute those items. That's definitely something you could do to just get things out there. I also recommend reach out to local organizations, nonprofits, education programs, college outdoor clubs, and see if there's even any gear libraries in your area. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not saying anything shocking. Outdoor gear is expensive. So if you can put it back out there and give people a chance and remove that barrier to entry, as we like to say, it's a really cool thing to do. Again, instant sainthood. And finally, I'd say you can also look for non-local organizations, so online programs that accept gear donations. One that I know of offhand is called the Gear Fund Collective, and their whole perspective is kind of a mutual aid model that processes and distributes your gear to people who can use it. So I'd say otherwise, hoarder, if you have any snowshoes, I could really use them because I think mine are finally busted beyond repair. Please and thanks. While daydreaming about future backpacking trips, I had an epiphany. Maybe I could have an even better time out there if I lightened my pack. That's when I decided to try out my very first trekking pole tent, Gossamer Gear's The One. And honestly, it was a match made in ultralight heaven. Weighing in at just 18 ounces, The One sets up in minutes using just trekking poles and a handful of stakes. And I'll tell you what, The One didn't just lighten my pack, it simplified my camp setup so that I had more time to enjoy the natural beauty all around me and allow me to spend more time with my favorite bidet. Oh yeah. Gossamer Gear designs products for people on the move. Rooted in a legacy of simplification, their philosophy is that taking less allows you to do more. And if you want to test this philosophy yourself, head over to gossamergear.com and use code GearAbby at checkout to save $20 off your order of $100 or more. Well, hello, my outdoorsy friends. It's your favorite time of the week. That's right, it's time to head over to the official gear garage of Gear Abby, Garage Grown Gear. That's right, our friends over at GGG are here to make sure that all of my friends have the newest outdoor stuff they need for their next adventure. What kind of stuff? I know you always ask. Well, here are some examples this week. Are you a human? Do you love gear? That's right. Then pick up the following new items by Human Gear. Great name. First, we have the Go Bite Spin, Spoon, and Fork. That's a lot of action in one item. That is available for a mere $8.99, and you can find out just for yourself how exciting it is. Or you could get even simpler as a human gear enthusiast and pick up the Go Bit Uno Spoon and Fork. That one's only $4.99. What a deal. And last but not least, you silly human gear lover, you, nab the Go Pee personal urination device. Oh yeah, you know I love that. And that one, $15.99, but really priceless if you ask me. Whatever you're looking for, Garage Grown Gear and Gear Abby are the perfect outdoor combo. So get shopping by heading over to garagegrowngear.com right now. Yeah, now I'm just remembering the creepy emails I have received in the past about my clothing. So I don't know what kind of can of worms I just opened, but let's all say a little prayer for Gear Abby.
Well, that's how you can afford those new snowshoes. If
We'll just add it to the OnlyFans. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, let's move along here to perhaps less gross topics. I don't know. I don't know what this question is. We'll find out.
Let's see. Dear Gear Abby, I retired this year and my grandson sends me different podcasts for me to try, and I've really come to enjoy yours.
Aw, I love that. Thanks, grandson.
You and your sidekick.
Oh, my sidekick.
I guess I'm the sidekick.
Yes.
Always get some laughs out of this old guy. Anyways, on to the topic. You've mentioned climbing Kilimanjaro, which is on my retirement bucket list. My wife and I hope to start planning a trip for next year, and I would love to know any tips you have, companies to book with, things to pack, anything else we should keep in mind for a successful trip. We are avid travelers, but have never attempted a hiking adventure overseas and want to go in well prepared. Yours truly, George. And you can also include my lovely, adventurous wife, Denise.
Well, thank you for putting up with all of our terrible jokes, George, and lovely, adventurous Denise.
I think our jokes are amazing. Thank you
They
very
are.
much, Gear
They
Abby.
are little brother sidekick. They absolutely. I'm going to start introducing you now as my sidekick. By the way,
That's
I
better
know
than
you
pig.
like produce and whatever, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's so funny," but
Actually, being my sidekick Colin is pretty cool. I like that.
you would like that, wouldn't
Yeah,
you?
that's all right.
Well, I'm here to please, Colin. So we'll work on that. Your personal branding on this podcast. I don't think anybody
Did
would
I just get a trail
deny-
name? Is sidekick my trail name?
Sidekick is your trail name. Now you have to go to Yosemite with me.
Okay.
Okay, we can
Yes.
reenact. Like if you need it to be we can reenact something from Lord of the Rings. Like
I want you to do like a beginning of the Lion King thing where you hold me up as the sun is coming up over El Cap or something like that, you know?
Yes, that's gonna. We'll wait till that time of year when you get the fire fall.
The fire
on,
falls. Yeah, there you go. That's coming
I'm
up.
gonna-
Right? Is that spring?
Yeah, it's always in the spring. You got to make a reservation ahead of time. If you're not sure what that is, you can Google it. It's a nice little phenomenon. It's very similar, by the way, to Manhattan Henge. Do you know what that is?
I do know that, yeah.
Yeah,
Where
when
the
I
sun's
lived in New
aligned.
York. Yes, the
I
sun
would normally
aligns
put a
on
footnote, a noise here, but the listener ruined that for everybody.
But they gave us a 5-star review, so I don't care.
Damn it, I'm so conflicted.
Oh man! All right, let's
All
get
right,
back
sorry,
to George and lovely
yeah,
Denise.
sorry, George
here,
and Denise,
okay?
yes.
Like you see the patience you have to listen to us, I swear. All right, let's start with booking your trip. You asked about companies. This applies to anybody considering an overseas trip. I mean, most of this stuff is going to apply to anybody considering an overseas trip, but I cannot recommend enough booking directly with local guides, or at least ensuring that the guiding company you choose partners with a local company. I think a huge part of responsible tourism is just making sure that as much as possible, your money actually stays in and benefits the communities that you're visiting. I just think that's something we should all be keeping in mind anytime we travel. But also, I really do believe that you get to have a deeper experience with a place when a local shares it with you. You know, they're giving you their perspective. So I honestly can't remember the company I went with because it was like 900 years ago, but I shared a
Gear
Tanzanian
Abby's
guide.
very old.
I'm very old.
You are older than me. I am your little brother.
I told you. See? And I'm very wizened. Yeah. So I shared my guide, who is amazing, Ayubu. I shared him with 2 other travelers, and
You shared a pee.
We did actually. We did. We peed back to back on the mountain on
I think
Summit
that was one
morning.
of the first episodes we talked about
Yeah,
that.
didn't we? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Good memory.
Thank you.
Yeah, so he and his entire crew were just a huge part of what I loved about my trip. They shared sort of their connection to the mountain and to the surrounding community. They gave me insider tips on checking out Arusha, where they were all from. They taught me a couple different card games that we played at camp, which was really fun. And I got to practice my very, very bad Swahili a few times, which actually came in way more useful. It was just so amazing when I was ready, when we were starting our hike. You're at the national park, you're at the front gate, and there's just 1,000 dudes there trying to sell you t-shirts and sunglasses. So that was my crowning glory, was saying, no, I am not interested in Swahili, which I don't remember, so don't ask me to say it.
That's you got that part nailed down before you got
Yep.
there. Yeah.
Yep, I really did. So anyway, I had a blast also just answering every single question they had, most of which were about 90s hip hop and whether or not I personally
topic.
knew the incredible artist Ja Rule. I swear. He was
Wasn't
convinced.
Ja
He's like, you
Rule-
must know Ja Rule. I'm like, I do not personally.
Wasn't Ja Rule the one involved with the fire? What was the Fire Island party? What was the big? What was that
forgot
party?
about
What was
that.
that? The one that didn't happen?
Firefest? Are you thinking
Firefest. Yeah, wasn't that Ja
Firefest?
Rule?
I think that might have been. Maybe we can get Ja Rule on the podcast to talk about festivals.
Let's go, Ja Rule.
Someone
Come on
ask
on.
me
You're
a question
invited.
about Firefest, please.
Exactly.
Oh man. But yeah, George, I don't know if that's your area of expertise, but like a
Ja
thrilling
Rule?
conversation. Ja Rule, 90s hip hop. But really it's super fun to talk to local folks and hear, about their lives, have them ask you about yours. Like to me, that's part of the fun of traveling. So anyway, I also recommend, speaking of the human, component here, I recommend you research the working conditions for the porters when you are choosing a guiding company. There is a lot of variation here. Some people are treated amazing. Some people are treated like crap out there, and you'll see it on the mountain. You'll see people who are wearing really bad, falling apart footwear, porters who are not sleeping in tents even. Like, do a little research. It's actually quite easy these days to just Google the companies and see what people say online. And if you're curious about this idea of porters and how they're treated, I highly recommend checking out something called the Porter Voice Collective. That's the website is theportervoicecollective.org. This is a really cool project that pushes for fair working conditions for porters on long treks around the world, which is a really amazing work.
Better URL than freecampsites.net.
It is just slightly better, yes. The website is a lot more modern, as it turns out. It was made in the last century, so.
Oh, good.
I'm telling you, all I can think of now, next time I go in there, is going to be the Oregon Trail wagon. Somebody's going to get dysentery. I mean, honestly, at a free campsite, norovirus.
That's right.
You may get dysentery.
What do you
I
want?
don't
It was
know.
free.
Exactly. Free viruses for everyone. Yeah. All right. So a couple other things. You asked about packing. Any guide company is going to give you a pack list. So I'm not going to cover any of the basics here because they will. But I will say, bring whatever they tell you to bring because you're actually going to need it and use it. I promise you that. But just in case these things aren't listed, here are a few things I loved having with me. Drink mixes, snacks, and extras to share. Swedish fish were a huge hit with Ayubu and the crew. I actually ended up sending them. I sent Ayubu a package with just filled with Swedish fish because he loved them so much.
Only red, though. Only
red.
Swedish fish.
Yes, of course, of course.
Other
Colin.
Swedish fish are bullshit. I don't even know why they make them anymore. Just
Thank
eat the
you.
red. The red rule.
No, the red is my favorite flavor.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, we can remain friends,
Thank you.
little brother.
Did I make amends for my bad Cheetos takes?
Oh, the bad Cheetos. Did you, y'all? Speaking of the footnotes that Colin creates every week, I went in and looked.
Best. Actually, it's okay to end with that one because that was the best footnote ever.
So terrible, ripping on my Cheetos. He was like ranking snack choices, and Cheetos were like 197 on the list. Jackass. Anyway, that's fine. I will enjoy my powdery orange treats to myself.
But
Just
Swedish fish.
No, I
Yeah.
don't know if I'll share mine with you now.
Oh.
Well, I'm going to be sitting at the Lord of the Rings movie theater extravaganza, just not sharing at all.
More of a junior mints guy at the movie theater, actually.
Whatever. You can have all the green Swedish fish just for that. A lot of places, okay, we're going to get back to George and lovely Denise here.
Yes.
A lot of places will give you a sleeping pad and a bag if you want to use them, but I recommend bringing your own pillow because that's not too common. You're also going to have a lot of downtime in that tent at night. So I had a journal and a book. But in the modern age, for those of us who aren't vampires and hiked 900 years ago, an e-reader would work. Bring a battery pack, which I also didn't have. I was just like praying that my things would last.
Also, a lot of downtime in your tent is why you don't want to use their sleeping bags. Just want to say, bring your own sleeping bag.
Oh, no.
That's
We're
a
gonna.
tip.
Oh, boy. All right.
I am
just the
king
tip.
shaming.
That is just the tip. Okay. There has to be one point in every episode where we just both devolve for a second into a 13-year-old
Has
boy.
to happen.
I apologize. Sorry to everybody. Sorry, not sorry. All right. So pack your sense of humor, apparently, George. And also I recommend gallon freezer bags, great for wet clothes, great for dirty laundry, great for doing your laundry. Ibuprofen or whatever painkiller you love, because I guarantee you will get a headache at least at some point, if not multiple points. The highest I'd been before this was 14,505 feet. That's the summit of Mount Whitney, Tumaguya. And the headache that blasted through my head at 16,000 feet, I thought was going to take me out for good. It was so bad. And finally, I would not be on brand if I did not mention a pee bottle. If you take Diamox at all, and Diamox is a drug that can help people acclimatize faster. A lot of folks take it. You take it before you leave on your trip and then while you're out there. You are going to pee a lot, like a lot. And I had a very distinct Nalgene that I marked up all around it in bold letters, do not drink. And I practiced using it a lot at home, and it really came in handy in the tent for a few nights. You can also just try to take the Diamox earlier in the day so that your bladder isn't just being an asshole at night. Pro tip that I didn't use myself. Yeah, and here's a few things, George, that I wish I had. I wish I had an eye mask, because everybody getting up on summit day, it's just their flashlights shining in your tent all night. My hair also turned into an absolute rat's nest out there for 8 days. I wish I'd had a dry shampoo and a comb or wipes, anything, because I was disgusting by the end of that trip. And I'm a person who doesn't mind being disgusting. It was that bad. I would also have given my non-existent firstborn to have hand warmers, like those little packets you can slip into your gloves would have been so great. Summit Day was just cold as shit. I also wish I had an insulated bottle because, again, Summit Day was cold as shit and everything froze. My water froze. I nearly cried when we got up to the rim. You're still about an hour out from the summit at this point. When Ayubu just produced a insulated flask of hot chocolate, I wanted to hug the man. I actually cried. It was very beautiful. But yeah, anyway, I could spend an entire podcast just regaling you with stories and suggestions, but we got to get to one more question on this episode, so I'm going to move it along. But to tie it all back to the beginning, get to know your guide team. George, lovely Denise, get to know them. These are people. Don't treat them like servants. I saw a lot of people on the mountain doing that, which was really disgusting if you ask me. Tip them well. Consider leaving your gear behind if you don't need it or if you just want to. It's a lot harder to get gear in places like Tanzania than it is here in the States. You've got an incredible opportunity to not just spend time in an incredible, beautiful place, but also with some really awesome people. The girls that I shared Ayubu and his crew with were total assholes. They only talked to each other. They did not participate in any of the camp activities, and they refused to eat like 90% of the food. Although I will say that worked out really well for me because I got to eat double at every single meal.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. I was actually very proud to make the summit, but maybe more proud when Ayubu looked at me at one point and went, "You are a good eater." I was like,
so if I'm your little
again,
brother,
sir.
you were like a toddler to him. Like, good
Yes.
eater. Good job.
Good job. Good eating. I was. They fed us on this trip. It's the thing because when you're in this national park, you have to get a guide. You can't just go by yourself,
Right, yeah,
which
you're
is what I'm
required,
used to. Yeah, it was weird. It was weird for me, but I will say they cooked some bomb ass food. It was a lot of starches, which I love, just like constant root vegetables, which thrilled me to no end.
Yeah, anytime you have guides, the best part is them making your food for you. And I would say if you have sort of like a lingering, like, oh, I got to do it myself, and it's not something you're used to doing, go get a guide. It's great. When someone's handing you a plate of food that you didn't have to cook, it's the best.
I need a
After you've been outside
guide.
all
Like,
day?
yeah, I need a guide in my house, like just after I've been working all day.
That's right.
Are you available, Colin?
No, not.
I actually
for that,
don't want you
no.
cooking for me, as it turns out, so that's fine. It is the time of the week that is always bittersweet. It is the time for question number 4.
Here we go.
Why did I say it like that? It's like these are the days of our lives.
It is time.
It's almost ASMR at this point.
It all is, really.
That's
OnlyFans
also gotta
and
go in the
ASMR. It's just
OnlyFans,
in our
yeah.
future. Yeah.
We're going to make so much money.
So much money. All right. Dear Abby, basic ass question for you. I like the way this has started.
I don't think George wrote this email.
I don't know. I don't think so either. Sorry it's not more exciting. I'm really trying to stick to a running schedule this winter because I'm training for a big trail race with my brother this spring. I hate being cold more than life itself, so I'm kind of pissed that I decided to do this. But whatever, we're raising money for charity, so there's no way I'm backing out. So I need to figure out how to get through the next few months without freezing my ass off out there. Any tips? Gear you like? Thanks. Signed, a guy who makes dumb decisions for good causes.
I like that. Some good sign-offs on this episode.
Seriously.
Right. Well, I am somebody who commits to running even when I'm visiting my family in Wisconsin every winter, unless it is that kind of cold where your nose hairs stick together, and some of you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know what you mean.
Oh, it's the worst. But I
No, that's what frozen boogers feel like.
it's just they really like growing. Oh, it was those were the coldest days when you walked out of the house and your nose just went.
Oh God, I can feel it.
So horrible. I'm having a sense memory right now, and I don't like it. But really, I salute you, my dumb decision-making guy. I actually think it's a good decision. But for real, it's not that bad as long as you are properly equipped. And this goes for most things in life, right? So I'd say start by thinking of your body as a machine. You're asking it to do work. You got to heat up the engine, if you know what I'm saying. And that is not a euphemism, although use it as you will. For me, that means a combo of eating something before I go out there, and I try to lean heavy into carbs, and just as a life, this is my mantra in life: eat carbs, a little bit of protein, a little bit of fat, so you get a little more slow burning energy. I do peanut butter banana a lot of time, and then I do a dynamic workout. A dynamic warm up. You don't need to do a full workout before you go running.
Go to a CrossFit class.
This is how you stay warm.
Then you're ready to run.
Yeah, that's right. I do the workout of the day. So do a little dynamic workout, warm up. I just really want
It
you
really
to take
just rolls
it
off the
in
tongue, doesn't it?
Go do some Pilates. That's for me. You got to get your body pre-warming. Okay, it's like for those of you who live in cold climates, you got to preheat your car before you get in it. This is what you're doing for your body. I also will throw in a little bit of a brisk walk to start my run, just also to keep the engine going, especially because I'm going to be bold, start cold, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. I just want to make sure all my limbs are functional, and I want to just double check to make sure it's not nose hair freezing cold, because if it is, then I'm just going to run back inside and say something like, tomorrow's another day, in my weird Katharine Hepburn accent.
I think she said that in a movie once.
Tomorrow's another day.
There it is.
That's right. So I also I'm just going to admit to this. I will sometimes wait till it's a little warmer in the day. So instead of running at 6 a.m., I might try to do a lunchtime run or something like that. It's marginal, but I'll take what I can get. I'd say you also obviously want to dress appropriately. And so this is where we're going to get into that little mantra I mentioned, not the eat carbs one, a different one. So listen, buddy, Mr. Dumb Decision-Making, Good Decision-Making guy, you want to be very careful to avoid overheating out there, because you don't want to get to the point where you're sweating a bunch, since wet skin is just going to suck the heat right out of your body. So this is the mantra, which I absolutely ignored when I first learned it. Be bold, start cold. And all that means is just don't go out there dressed like the abominable snowman, okay? This is what I looked like on Kilimanjaro. It was so bad that Ayubu actually had to palm my ass at one point to like push me up a steep part of the hill.
Sure, he wasn't just like copying a feel.
I don't think he could feel anything through the 17 layers I was wearing, to be honest. Is there a butt under here? I don't think he knew what he was touching, honestly. It was just like a massive Gore-Tex and fluff. For me, for running, I tend to do, if it's really cold, I'll do a light wool legging. I love the Ridge merino tights. And I'll do a lightweight long sleeve shirt. I might also pop on a vest or I've talked about wind shirts before on here. I'll bring my wind shirt if I think it's going to be maybe a little extra cold and I want to keep my core a little more warm. And gloves, headband, or like a headband, and a hat, something like that. That's crucial for me. I want my hands and my head covered. I personally, a lot of times in winter when it's not crazy nose hair cold, I will do a long sleeve wool shirt and shorts, like a freak, compression socks maybe. I also love having a little mitten on, like a fleece mitten. And so I can do that and still be warm as long as my extremities, like my hands and my head, are kept warm. I'm actually trying, I got these things called white paw run mitts from Title IX recently. And I am very excited to try them. They're kind of like fleecy tubes with a flap that covers your fingers. There's actually no thumb portal place for your thumb. You just put the thumb in there, and it actually helps keep your hands warmer in theory, because all of your fingers are together just cozying up. Like
some people call those socks.
Yep. Yeah. Well, they're kind of sockish, I'm not going to lie. They're a little too tight for the feet.
For rebranding and taking advantage. Like, hey, you know what we could do?
Hey.
We could take those socks.
What about socks for hands?
Flip it around. Call them hand tubes.
Hand tubes. They're white paw run mitts, okay? They're not hand tubes, but they are hand tubes.
Oh, that's
They're
the best.
Fleecy hand tubes. No, you know what I like about them, though, is that you can actually push them down on your wrist like little sweatbands if you get too hot.
That's
anyway.
cool. It does open up at the top, so it's not just a sock.
It does. Yeah. They're nice. But if you want to put them on your feet, Colin, that's on you. I would also say, I know you asked about not freezing your ass off, but you should also want to not bust your ass on the ground. It gets cold out there, it gets icy. So I personally I have Cthulhu micro spikes. I also will take Black Diamond distance spikes when I travel. They're a little more compact and lightweight. But there are a lot of different traction devices out there. Icebug actually makes winter running shoes that have built-in steel ice cleats that will help you grip. Now, keep in mind, though, this stuff isn't for you to run on snow. It's to run on ice and like really hard pack. If you are running on snow, which some people really do like to do, there are some kind of weird foamy snowshoes you can use for that. But just get a little grip in there so you don't end up falling on your ass, which will make you colder, okay? I think personally, when I wear them, I do feel like a little bit of an ice Frankenstein, just sort of stumbling around when I've got my micro spikes on. So I am intrigued by the ice bugs with the built-in cleats. So just making a note of that. But yeah, anyway, speaking of shoes, I do tend to run in my trail runners year round, but I'll swap over to waterproof ones in the winter so I can try to pretend that my socks are going to stay dry. Of course, as we know, when you sweat in the waterproof shoes, it does negates everything anyway.
Doesn't come out.
Yeah, just don't sweat
But
it.
if it's really cold, it can add. It's like a barrier that actually helps helps your feet stay warm. So
Yeah, exactly. So they go to Wisconsin with me every year. But yeah, finally, I'd say, Guy, your question actually reminded me of a piece I wrote about winter trail running or winter running in general for Adventure Journal a couple years ago. And a specific tip that my friend Tanya gave when I was interviewing her. She said that she carries a small flask of whiskey on longer winter runs. So I know that we all know that alcohol dehydrates us, but I think maybe it'll also keep your spirits warm if you take a little nip out there, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, the whole, be bold, start cold thing, I'm like, fuck off with that. Whoever said that. I mean, because here's the
Is
thing.
that why you live in San Diego County?
Well, it is now. But but when I was living in cold areas and that's when I was running the most, it's like, hey, you know what? Actually, when you walk outside and you're warmed up and then it's actually like invigorating, like, don't you want to, that's a great place to start when you're running. So like, yeah, not to the point where you're like dripping sweat, but do push-ups, do squats, whatever, to get to the point where you're like just about like, oh, I'm starting to feel like I might sweat a little bit. And you go outside and you're like, oh my God, this feels great because I'm so warm from my workout.
Well,
and then your point, layering all that stuff, that's the right way to go.
Be bold, start cold is not that you want your body to start cold. I covered this, Colin. That was the whole like body as a machine thing. The be bold, start cold is to not overdress. Don't put a bunch of layers on. You don't need them. That's what
I was
it's about.
misinterpreting
that. Yeah, I want you to take it back now. Okay.
I take it back.
Thank you.
It's still the right way to go. And also, by the way, no tights until it's under 30 degrees Fahrenheit. If it's above 30 degrees, wear shorts. You're running, for God's sakes. Come on. What
if people have really cold shins? You don't have everybody's shins. It's not a very insulated part of the body.
We all know that cold shin syndrome is a problem that afflicts us all. Coming this fall to Garage Grown Gear, fleece shin covers.
I want shin chaps.
Should we just start a chaps brand that says like finger chaps?
Oh, we didn't even say. Listen, y'all, I know we've talked about rain chaps. We just talked about our new invention, shin chaps. At the running event, we stopped and had a meeting with the Satisfy folks.
Oh yeah,
and saw all their fancy, cool clothes, and they had arm chaps. So yep. I just want to say, there's a chap out there for everyone. Well, that's it for this episode of Gear Abby. Until next time, send your burning questions about chaps or your relationships with outdoor people, products, places, and pastimes over to DearGearAbby@gmail.com, and I'm going to do my best to answer them or find someone who can. And of course, head over to your podcast listening service of choice and subscribe, rate, and leave a haiku to support the pod and make my day. And follow us on Instagram @GearAbbyPod. In the meantime, today's episode was produced by David Karstad and this guy, Colin True, my little brother. Art direction provided by Sarah Gensert, who I am not related to. I'm Shawnté Salabert, and remember, there are no dumb questions, just smart advice.